a lot of people do say to us, we're not Japanese or we're not American. We have a different culture here. So I think you really enjoy Ryan, head of design and innovation at Seating Matters. Seating Matters was set up in 2008. And I think, Ryan, you've been at this for the last 6 or 7 years. They're all about designing chairs for, I suppose, comfort and posture and helping people get a better quality of life. I'm going to hand over. I know I've got 1 or 2 people still coming in, been filtered in, but Ryan, you might take over and have a quick introduction.
Yep, thank you very much, Steve. And thanks for having me here today. I'm really excited to talk about something that I'm really, really passionate about and have been passionate about for over 6 years now. So we'll just get started. So my name is Ryan Tierney. I come from a company called Seating Matters. That's myself and my 2 brothers that own and manage the company. And I'm predominantly on the operations and manufacturing side. And 6 years ago, I had a light bulb moment. And it really was a light bulb moment. The company wasn't running the way I would have liked, with loads of production issues, loads of people issues. The place was dark and gloomy and really not a nice environment for working in. And I just went home one night really stressed. And I sat down at my kitchen table with an iPad. And I thought, there has to be a better way. You can't keep living like this. It's not healthy. And I got my iPad out and I was just sitting at the kitchen table and I started to type in how to manage production, how to run a factory, how to increase efficiency, how to reduce stress in the workplace, all this type of stuff. And lo and behold, Paul Akers came up. And if you haven't heard of Paul Akers before, Paul Akers, he's very inspirational, but basically Paul Akers went to Toyota about 18 years ago and seen what Toyota were doing in Japan and thought, this is unbelievable. Why is there no Western companies doing this? And he took the complicated business philosophy of TPS or Toyota Production System or Lean or whatever you want to call it, continuous improvement. He took that and boiled it down into a really simple concept called 2-second lean, where every single person in the company is engaged in continuously making everything easy every day. And I thought, this is genius. It's so simple because that's the way I think. I like everything to be simple. So I really related to this as soon as I seen it. And I'm just going to show you a few before videos of how our company was 6 years ago. And I'm actually proud to show this because it really gets across the contrast to where it is now. This is a typical scene in our manufacturing floor. So very disorganized, loads of mess everywhere. There's no order. We made too much stuff. We made products that we didn't have orders for. There was really no organization in anything that we done. And I thought, this is just not good enough. There has to be a better way. We would just overproduce, would make too much. There was loads of defects and all the normal issues that most companies have. We had them times 10. We really did. It was unbelievable. So when I came across 2-second lean, it really was a change in my thinking. So what is lean? I don't think I have to tell the people in this group what lean is, but really if we boil it down into a really simple few bullet points, it's a method to reduce non-value added activities from a process. And really when I read 2-second lean, I realized that 90% of everything I do and everything you do in your company or in your organization is waste. So now that we've realized that 90% of everything we do is waste or non-value added activity, some people would get downhearted and say, okay, this isn't good. We need to do something about that. What we done is we turned it into a game and we made it fun. And we built a culture around continuous improvement where every single person in the company is not only actively doing improvements, but excited to do improvements. And we have 52 people in our team. So 52 times a day, we're improving the process or making our job better. And you might be watching this thinking that's a bit of an exaggeration. Surely everybody doesn't improve. And I'm here to tell you that yes, they do. Every single person is engaged in continuous improvement. It's really unbelievable what we have created. So what is 2-second lean, and why was 2-second lean so impactful for me? Well, I read The Two Away and loads of other books, and they are brilliant books, and I've fell back on them after finding out about 2-second lean. But 2-second lean was a really simple concept that every single person at every level in the organization can get on board with and understand. So the first thing is really to see waste. The second thing is continuously improve everything every day and take before and after videos. You're probably thinking, what's the before and after video thing about? Well, it's really to display contrast. And that's why the before and after is so critical. So we have a WhatsApp group within our company, and we're sharing videos all the time before and after on how we have improved the process. So you're maybe thinking, whoa, this is not normal for a Northern Irish company to think like this. And it's not, because when I found out about 2-second lean, I booked flights and I got on the plane and I went to Japan. I went to FastCap. I went to meet Paul Akers, went to his company, went to his house. I just had to get this information direct from Paul himself. I went to Germany. I went to companies all over the world to try and figure out what this was all about. And we took all that thinking back to our company right here in Limavady, Northern Ireland. And it really set us on fire. So how did I change the mindset from a group of people that wouldn't interact with each other, were very shy, awkward at speaking out in front of people at meetings? So how did I change that? And really how we changed it was our daily kata. So K-A-T-A. So kata is a Japanese term for a choreographed pattern of movements or routine. So we could sum it up to say it's our routine. So what is our daily routine or our daily kata? So it's really simple. There's 3 things that we do every single day. And we've been doing this now for 6 years, and the results that we're getting are just unprecedented. So we start every single day with a 20-minute morning meeting with our entire team. So 7:55 to 8:15, we all stand up in a big circle up at the meeting area, and a different person holds a meeting every day. So it just goes alphabetical. And I hold a meeting, the sewing machinists hold a meeting, the welders, the office staff, the accounts department, every single person gets their turn to hold the morning meeting. So the first thing we talk about is what we're grateful for. Then whoever's holding the meeting tells us a bit about themselves, what they've done at the weekend, maybe a bit about their hobbies, their interests. Then we do some stretching. And when we started this, people thought Ryan Tierney is crazy. What's going on here? He's went away on these trips to Japan and America, and he's come back and he's getting us all to stretch. But it's surprising how normal it is now. So we start our days with gratefuls, then we stretch. We talk about any improvements that have been made from the day before. We talk about any improvement opportunities. We talk about missing tools. Then the key to the whole meeting is our learning. So we have a learning section in our meeting where every single day we're teaching and training our staff on what waste is. We're teaching and training a different concept from Japan, from Toyota. We're maybe watching a video from another lean company around the world. We're maybe doing some teaching on our own product and the impact that we're having on our customers' lives. So really what we've developed is a teaching and training organization that happens to make chairs. And getting your head around that thinking is the biggest thing, but once you do, it's unbelievable. It's a whole different mindset. So every day it's a 20-minute morning meeting, followed by 30 minutes of improvement time. And as soon as I heard this at the start, I was like, what? So 50 people are not going to work for the first 30 minutes of the day? I thought that was crazy. And the more I read into it and learned about it, and somebody asked me actually on a tour last week, they said, how can you afford to spend 30 minutes with 50 people every day. And I said, how can we afford not to? Because the results we're getting are unbelievable. Our competitors' lead time is typically 6 to 12 weeks. Our lead time is 3 weeks. Most companies find it really hard getting staff. We have a list of people waiting to start working here. So we've challenged the normal way that business operates. And this all started with this philosophy of 2-second lean. So the next thing we do is all before and after videos are shared on our company WhatsApp group. And this is the third step of our kata. So the morning meeting, improvement time, WhatsApp group. So the WhatsApp group is so powerful, and I'll just show you. I've got my phone beside me, and I'll show you our WhatsApp group. And you can just see on here, this is just today. These are before and after videos of people that since just this morning that have made improvements, live improvements. So we have created a culture where every single person is actively looking for opportunities to improve every single day. So we have hundreds and hundreds of active live improvements happening every week. So that's our daily kata, and that is how we set up the structure of our day, and that's why we're getting the results that we're getting. And that's why we're doing tours for companies that come from all over the world to see what we've done. So we had a company here last week from Greece. They flew in, spent half a day and flew out again. They just came to see what this was all about, because they had the same fire in their belly that I had at the start. When I was finding out about lean, I would fly anywhere in the world to find out more about this stuff. So I think it's really good that we have an example in Northern Ireland or Ireland where local companies can come and learn and develop and gain knowledge on this amazing concept that is lean or continuous improvement or whatever you want to call it. So it's something I'm really, really passionate about. So now what I'm going to show you is some of the after photographs of how our production facility looks. And as you can see, everything's color coded. Everything's got a place. The tools are standardized. The processes are documented. It really is textbook lean, what we're doing right here in Limavady. So we have a tack time. We've implemented tack time where every 26 minutes we're producing a finished chair. So if someone had told me 6 years ago, before we started doing 2-second lean, that in 6 years' time you'll be making a chair every 26 minutes, I would have said, no way, not possible. But we have proved that it's very possible. And it's very possible for any company or any organization to implement this type of thinking. All it takes is to engage everybody in your team to drive forward in the same way. So this is another typical photographs of how our production facility looks. And it's just day and night from where it used to be. We've also got a really good Kanban system in place. And we found out lately that lean, or in the last couple of years, that lean is a multiplication of systems coming together. So sometimes companies come for a tour and they say, oh, we're just interested in Kanban, or we're just interested in how you do your meeting. And our answer to that is Kanban and the morning meeting and respect for people and continuous improvement and kata and visual management all have to work together in a complete system. It's like a system of cogs in an engine that all have to work in harmony. So that's a really quick version on how we set up our day, what kata is, and how kata has been so impactful for us and on our 2-second lean journey. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. We are open for tours, although we're booked out for to like September, October this year. There's so many companies that want to come and experience what we've done. So again, I want to thank you, Steve, for inviting me here today. And it's something I'm really, really passionate about and love talking about. And I'm open for questions or anything that somebody would like to ask.
Ryan, thanks a million. Really appreciate the time. I mean, what I love about this story is there's no huge technical concepts. Ryan keeps it really straightforward and simple.
How would you manage, I suppose, like that percentage, that small percentage of people that are not coming along that journey with you guys? Or have you come across that much?
Yep, that's a brilliant question, and I think it's something that all companies face when they start a transformation like this. So the best way I can answer that is that to tell you a story about my grandfather. My grandfather was a sheep farmer, so he kept about 60 or 70 sheep, and he always told the story of when you want to make an impact or make a change, be more like a sheepdog than a bulldog. So if he wanted to round up all the sheepdog would go around the edge of the field, nice and slowly but surely, all the sheep were where the farmer wanted them to be, or where the sheepdog wanted them to be. As opposed to a bulldog goes in and says, "This is what we're doing. It's lean. You have to make your improvement. Put videos in the WhatsApp group. This is the way forward for this company," and all the sheep split up. So what we've got really good at over 6 years, slowly but surely, bringing people around to this way of thinking. And right now, sitting here right now in front of this computer, I can firmly say that 100% of our staff are actively involved in continuous improvement and make improvements on a daily basis. But 2 or 3 years ago, it wasn't that way. There was 3 or 4 that they were good people. They loved working here and everything was good. They just didn't get it. But slowly but surely, through education and teaching and training in the morning meeting and showing how other people have benefited from this, they did get on board. So that's what I would say. It's nice and slow and gradual, because a lot of people come to a seminar or watch a presentation like this and they want to go back and change everything, but that's probably not the best way. So gradually, incrementally, bringing people on board, I think, is the best.
Ryan, you said that you've got hundreds and hundreds of improvement ideas. How do you decide which ones to work on, and how do people feel if their idea is put back?
Yeah, brilliant question again. So at the start of our lean journey, it was very difficult because people didn't understand what waste was or what an improvement is. And that's why the morning meeting is so powerful, because we show examples of what a good improvement is. We watch videos from other companies. And the good thing about 2-second lean is that it's all really simple things. You know, it's making a place for your drill today. It's hanging your brush on a holder tomorrow. It's maybe marking out the floor with a bit of safety tape the next day. It's really small things that don't cost a lot of money. So we do have to sometimes buy machines, and we have an approval process for bigger improvements. But why 2-second lean is so powerful is that it's all simple things. You know, if I could turn my camera right now, I'm in the conference room, and I could show you like 30 improvements that have been made in the last few months. You know, there's a place for the keyboard, there's a place for where the mouse stays. I can see the pen is labeled, the charger for the phone is there, and it's got a place. So it's all really simple things, and the barrier to entry is so low that every single person can get on board. And if there is bigger things, they do need an approval process, but most things are small. And it's actually really smart, and how Paul Akers came up with this was genius, because when the bar is set so low that everybody can engage, then someday someone will come up with something that will change the whole company. You know, we're looking for a 2-second improvement, and everybody understands and can get on board with that. But we've had improvements that are saving us 70, 80,000 a year, because people are now engaged and understanding what an improvement is.
Sorry for a sec. Hey, Ryan, that was an absolutely excellent presentation, and you can definitely see the transformation. So the question I would ask you, obviously, when you went on your visits and your study journeys, was there a process that you came back with on how to implement the transformation? So did you focus on culture or continuous improvement, or what structure did you look at to come back and implement?
Yeah, brilliant question. I was fortunate at the start to have Paul Akers, you know, by my side, not physically, but I could phone him WhatsApp him, send him an email at any minute of every day. And Paul, if anyone knows Paul, he's a real giver and he's really generous with his time. So I had the good fortune of asking Paul, what do I do now? What do you think? What's the best approach? So Paul always taught me to start small and start in one area of the factory. So we started with a small group, 2 or 3 people, and we started in a small area, in the assembly area. And we made that area the example for what one day the rest of the factory would look like. Then we brought other people from woodworking or from sewing or from upholstery over and said, this is what we're doing in assembly. What do you think of this? And most of them were like, oh, let's try it in our area. All we can do is try. So it started really small with 2 or 3 people. Then it grew to more areas of the factory and kept growing and spreading until what it is today. But that's what I would say. Start with a small group of people and get them excited about it. But even a step back from that again is that at the very start, I asked Paul, okay, how can I fast track this journey? Is there any things I can do to speed up the process? Because I don't want to take 20 years. If I can do it in 5 or 6 or 10, I would rather do that. And he said, there's 3 things you need to do. He said, senior management need to be fully on board and excited about the process. Number 2, senior management need to be fully on board and be excited about the process. Number 3, senior management need to be fully on board and be excited about the process. And I think that's why we were so successful, because I really got this. Nobody could tell me that lean doesn't work. It's just oozing out of me. So I think that's key as well. It's getting somebody in the organization to be really excited about it, and that overflows to everyone else.
Yeah, just I'm hugging this. I'm conscious of that, but no, it's just a question. Just say with this 50 or 52 odd people, and they're coming up with continuous improvements every day, every morning, and I would imagine you're building a big hopper, of improvements. But I'm just wondering, are you plugging this into like a value stream map, or to understand the consequences of the improvements that you're putting in? Like, is there a risk that in a downstream process where you're putting in all these fantastic improvements, you're actually just creating a bigger bottleneck somewhere further downstream? And how do you manage that, or what way do you quantify that?
Definitely, yeah. It's a brilliant question. It's something we don't spend a lot of time on is quantifying, because the improvements are so small and so incremental that it's really easy to implement and really easy to see the benefits straight away. So I think what most larger companies would do, they've got process engineers or manufacturing engineers who are working on like designing a new line or a new machine or all these really complex systems or software, which is brilliant, and we do as well. But the missing gap is all the stuff below. Where is your hammer right now? Where is the drill? Where's the switch for that roller door? How do I put these lights on? What's the password for the computer? It's all the 2-second lean is a system for managing all the mundane tasks to free us up to focus on bigger things. And I think that's the key. But definitely we have process engineers and manufacturing engineers here as well. If we're currently looking at a new powder coating system, and we're very aware of all the process, how that will affect all the processes around that, so downstream and upstream. So that's more of a higher level meeting with 3 or 4 people to design that. But the daily, where we get the energy and the excitement from is those small incremental improvements that don't really have an effect on upstream or downstream processes.
And you are the senior manager, so easy enough that you're on board. If you weren't on board, what would the difference be?
Yeah, so we do tours for companies that come to see us all the time, and we had a company 2 weeks ago. They're a joinery company. Senior management aren't actively involved in continuous improvement, but they like the idea of it and they're fully supportive of it. So what they've done is they've given full control over to their operations manager to run with it. And so in some organizations that's brilliant, that's okay, that's enough to keep it going. We're fortunate that I am the owner and manager and implementer of Lean, but that's not to say that that's the only way it will work. As long as senior management are on for it and like the idea of it and are happy enough to invest the time in morning meetings and improvement time and any tools or supplies that are needed for the process, if they have that approval and go ahead, then that's absolutely brilliant, more than good. Yep.
I see a question in from Alan. Have you trained qualified employees in lean, such as yellow or green belts, or are you guys just doing it?
Yeah, we actually had the exact same question from our company that was with us this morning for a tour. They were very much into sending people on courses for green belts and black belts and Six Sigma, and that's all brilliant. It's whatever works for you, but we don't do that. We actively see waste every day and make improvements. We have a term that came from Paul's book as well, as fix what bugs us. So every day, every morning when we wake up, from you wake up to you go to bed, there's things that are through at you all day that really bug you. Like you can't find the password for the computer, or you've lost your car keys, or you go to have a meeting with somebody, but it turns out they're not in, but they didn't let you know. All these things bug us. So we're fortunate that we have a system in place to counteract that. So if something bugs us, we fix it. Yeah. Something else bugs us, we fix it. So we're not so much about certificates or green belts, black belts, yellow belts, and more focused on actively doing it. Let's make an improvement today that's going to make my life easier tomorrow.
Just something you touched on earlier was getting the feedback from everybody in the team, right down to the operators on the floor and stuff. What's been the difference since you started doing that? Has that been something that before you started on this lean journey that you might have been neglecting, you think?
Yeah, feedback in terms of
just getting feedback. Yeah, getting feedback in terms of improvement opportunities, issues that you're having, the same kind of issues coming up, tracking that. Is that something that before you started this lean journey you weren't following as much, and since then now you're getting more feedback from the team? Is that like what's been the difference there, do you think?
Yep, exactly that. Before doing lean, we had no system for collecting feedback or finding out how people were feeling even, or how their day was going, or what was bugging them in their job, or what tools they were missing. There was no system for it. There really wasn't. And people probably felt neglected, which led to maybe looking for another alternative job. But we have a really simple system, and it's really effective, and it works. So we have what's called improvement cards, and they're dotted all around the factory and around the office. It's a wee simple A6 laminated card. So we have improvement cards and a marker. And if something bugs you, you're never more than 10 steps away from an improvement card. So you walk over and say, need a new drill for assembly area, and you go over and you stick that on the improvement manager's board. And the improvement manager, Chris, will come and talk to that person, say, okay, I see you've read an improvement card. What are you thinking? Do we need to buy a tool? And they'll discuss that. So we have these cards dotted around the whole place. And it's such a simple system that it's hard to believe that it could be so simple. So if somebody needs a tool, if somebody's struggling to bend down and they need something raised up, if even issues like, we had Denitsa, a lady last week, who always found a struggle to get home in time to collect her wains from childcare. She read it on an improvement card and discussed it with Alison, our operations manager. And we found out a way where she's leaving every Thursday night at 4:30. So we have a system in place. Okay, something bugs me, there's the improvement card. Something bugs me, you're never 10 or 15 steps away from it. You capture the improvement, capture the idea, and then we do something about it.
Welcome back, everyone. We're just before 1 o'clock, and I know it's a flying hour. Ryan, I thought the presentation was excellent. It certainly got conversation going in our room. Thanks a million for that. I hope you all enjoyed it. I know some people had to drop off a bit earlier, but we're just within the hour there. Thanks a million.
Okay, thank you for having me.
We'll be putting out a summary of the meeting and a summary of the video, so you'll have all that information. Thanks again to everybody, and So thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thanks, Ryan.
everybody.
Thanks, Steve.
Everyone.
Bye.
Cheers, all the best.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.